Welcome to Three Season of Pod NBA Edition, Episode 3. I think it's Episode 3, right?
Should be something like
I think it's the
that.
third episode.
I hope so.
We'll jump right into it. I know we missed a lot of shit. Holiday season.
Yep.
Can't always hop on the pod on holiday season. We don't get paid for this, so
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. If you want to pay us, let me know. Hop in my
Then,
Gmail.
then we'll be weekly, man.
Hop on the Twitter, baby. You want to see more? I mean,
Damn near 2 times a week if we getting paid, bro.
listen, man, I know 98.5 the Sport Hub is kind of trash right now, and if y'all need a better people, right here. I'll drive to Boston. Well, I'll take the train. So
Yeah, exactly.
all right, jumping right into it. I guess we could talk about the Draymond Green suspension.
Yes, and recent news, I guess.
And recent, but not recent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think more recently they determined that it would be like 11 to 13
11
games
to
or something.
Yeah, it was
But obviously-
indefinite. It was indefinite.
Yeah, it was indefinite, more recent or like past that.
I mean, we come on, man. We Celtics fans, we hate that dude. Game 2 of so it's just like, come on, man. I think that was so egregious because like he's always kind of done shit like that where he's kicking balls. I think he stomped on Sabonis last year.
Yep.
But dude, my man went 360 fucking Falcon punching Nurkic.
Pretty rough.
Like how the fuck?
That was crazy. No,
There's just
that was
no
so
way.
wild.
There's just no way you can explain that. I don't care who you are. Like
Yeah.
my
That's
man, he did a full 360. He was like and I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty comical. It was pretty comical.
I'm a little surprised, but like that they had like okay. The one thing I was laughing about, I think someone posted this, was like, remember when Gary Payton got injured by Dylan Brooks, and then after the game, Steve Kerr was like, "Oh, he broke the code. I saw the tape. He broke the code."
Yeah,
and then I think Marcus Smart dove for a loose ball, and Steph Curry got hurt, and then and Steve Kerr was like, "Oh, I saw the video. Yeah, he did that on purpose." And then this one happened, and Steve Kerr was like, "I never saw the video."
Yeah, he always does that.
Like, bro,
it's crazy.
Like, this is why Draymond crazy, man. Like,
I get getting your players. Man. Yeah, I get getting your players backs, but it's line, like man. It's too far sometimes. And yeah, I mean, as an outsider, it's pretty comical to see like the whole Draymond stuff, and obviously it was more annoying when was versing the Celtics and all that stuff. But I just think the Warriors and like the organization, even like players and shit, like they got to be sick of it at this point. Like at least a good chunk of them have to be sick of it because it's to the point where it's just like detrimental to the team now. Like there's really no reason for him to do any of what he's been doing more recently. I think obviously before it was like the concept of being an enforcer and you guys were still coming up and all that kind of stuff. So in a world there's more like room for it to happen or like to have that kind of guy on your team. But as like the days are going by where this dynasty is kind of like getting over it, now it just makes even less sense to have someone like this. It just feels like he's like insecure
exactly.
and like has to do something to have these teams respect him or something, or like respect the Warriors, I guess, overall. So it's super odd, and I think like even Steve Kerr never really addressing it and more so just saying like, oh, I haven't seen the tape and shit like that. It's just really weird overall, and there's no way that people aren't just like sick of it. The fans, the organization, and like some of the players and shit. So I guess like I'm hoping that something comes out of this. Like I guess this is his longest suspension like ever. So hopefully.
I know Steph's sick of it.
Yeah, like hopefully it works out. Yo, Steph be trying to like not like cover Draymond, but like he just be trying to say it in such a nice way. I'm like, bro,
like, come on, man.
you real for like having your guys back, but damn, there's no way you're not sick of that shit.
It's like, dude, it's costing you wins, bro.
Yeah, no, dead ass. Like Curry's fighting for his life, bro.
But like, I don't know, the way that I see it though, Draymond's been always this dude ever since he came to the league, right? Like,
yeah.
Labeled as like a pit bull, dog, whatever, and labeled as the heart and soul of that team. But I think, in my opinion, like if you really look at it, like he's gotten away with it for so long because the Warriors were the dynasty. They were winning, and then I feel like now that they're not, as they're labeled dynasty anymore, and they're just like kind of like a mediocre team. Everybody could see it. It's more magnified now. Like you could see, there's no reason for him to be doing all this. Like they're not, winning all the time. They're not the same team they were before. So the fact that he's still pulling this and it's like consistently too. Like he's had 2-3 situations this year. So even way back from that Jordan Poole incident, like you kind of can see like he hasn't changed. So I like the move that the NBA did, kind of like just to be a wake up call for him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like you kind of can't change that. Like, maybe a good will come out of it for a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think he's just going to go back to his old ways.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's worse now. In terms of the leash, I guess that they have for him, where it's like dude just gets away with like a bunch, and that's not even like, I'm not coming from like a hater's perspective or anything like that. It's just more so like he can genuinely like get away with way more compared to the average person, to where even this like suspension feels like not the biggest like punishment, I guess, overall, especially for someone who is like a repeated offender.
He punched a dude in the face and he got probably
nothing.
Get 11 games. That's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. And even like the Jordan Poole thing, like he fucking he dead-ass punched his teammate.
Dead-ass knocked his teammate out, bro.
Yeah, and nothing happened to him. And then, like I said, after the Gobert thing, and then a few games after, like punching someone else.
My man suplexed Gobert and got like 3 games or something.
Yeah, so it's just, so I feel like personally, like it he has like more of a leash than what you were trying to say. Like, I think his antics have been crazier or more recently compared to before. And that has like warranted him getting like actual suspensions and stuff like that. But even then, I feel like it's relatively light. Like I think they're not that worried about him. Like the projected date, I'm pretty sure, is like for him to come back is like January 5th or something, and that's like not even that long away. That's damn near a week. He's already back.
For sure. I think objectively speaking, like, look, man, and I get it. We're Celtics fans. We don't like the Warriors. We don't like. Honestly, if anything, we should be thanking Draymond. He's dismantling a dynasty. We could have had like 6 rings. KD left because of him. We should be thanking him. But objectively speaking, man, the shit he gets away with. Like, okay, I think the craziest one to me was last year. I'm pretty sure it happened after. But you guys don't really watch NFL like I do. But like you remember, you should know about this, the Damar Hamlin situation.
Yeah.
The guy had cardiac arrest on the field. He came back. So, if you're familiar with cardiac arrest, it's a chest injury, right? Draymond stomped on Sabonis's chest right after the Damar Hamlin situation and got 1 game.
Yeah.
That's insane to me, bro. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
So even if you're a Warriors fan, you gotta admit this dude is fucking insane. He's a psycho, man. Come on, man.
Pretty much, man.
you gotta
I just don't understand where it comes from at this point, which is like sad. Like I mean, you guys have clearly known that I always try to be pretty objective and understand people's perspectives and shit. Like goddamn, like this confuses me. Like I really question if there's something
there might be something going on in his
mentally.
head.
Mentally, like he really has to work on anger management and shit like that. Which I mean, they've said that he's going to enroll in like specific stuff and all that. And I mean that whatever the outcome of that is, like, it's not like that important. I don't think it's going to be that relevant, to be honest. But just watching this, I'm like, damn, I want. There's got to be something. Like it just confuses me.
It's gonna reach the point where he's gonna hurt somebody at some point, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's like that. That's when they're finally gonna put real punishment on him or something. When he like damn near kills someone. Like goddamn.
I mean, I don't know, who knows, but I think maybe it's just time to hang him up after the season.
We'll see.
I mean,
he won that money, so we'll see.
Hey.
Someone might give it, but I mean,
they already gave it to him. They gave him $100 million.
Oh, did they?
Remember?
I forget if they.
He got 4 years, $100 million after they traded Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they stuck with him for now.
Yeah.
Unless the Lakers want him.
They damn near might.
They might. It's the fucking Lakers, man. They might. But one guy out for suspension, one guy coming back. So Ja Morant came back. Yo, they 4-0. They
4-0.
Yeah,
they are back.
And
they're undefeated in the era.
And they got Marcus Smart back. Last night. Last night.
I was watching that game. That was a good ass game.
Last night, great game.
That's literally that fourth quarter and overtime was literally peak Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that's like everything that they wanted for. Like that's why they got him, and that's like obviously why we loved him. But it's been great.
I saw a tweet. Somebody was like, you know what? It was a Memphis Grizzlies fan, obviously. They were like, you know what? I see why Celtics fans were acting like the world was ending when they traded Marcus Smart.
Facts, man.
But for real though, Jack coming back, that's a needle mover, man. That's a needle mover. I
think people were disrespecting him, man.
They kind of were. Sure. Like, I mean, he's out for 25 games. You know, out of sight, out of mind.
Recency bias, crazy, yeah.
Yo, but him coming back, bro's average, like in the 4 games since he's been back, he's like what 29-9 or some shit. 29,
like 4. Yeah, that's numbers.
And he's putting up numbers, and they're winning. And you know what? Unfortunately, he's not gonna get any awards this year, right? Because he's gonna be under the threshold of the 65 game minimum. But man, he's playing like what we know he is. He's an all NBA player. Probably with the way he's playing recently and the MVP discussion. But man, it's good.
And I mean, it's looking more alive. The road back to the playoffs is looking very real. Before he came back, they were 7.5 games back, bro.
Yeah, and now they're 4 games, something like that.
Yeah, no, they're like 4.5 games right now, which is like extremely doable. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's like still going to be a tough task. Yeah. And there's no way that they just like. I mean, they damn near could go on a double digit win streak because I mean they've done it before with a very like similar team, so it's not like out of the cards. I don't think they would do it like off rip as soon as Jog comes back, but that'd be a crazy story too. But I think people were like undermining how good of a player Ja was, especially in like point guard conversations,
and how impactful he is. Dude,
especially with like the rise of like Hallie and even like Tyrese Maxey and all that kind of stuff. People were trying to have like certain conversations, and I don't know, Ja just it like strikes me as one of those players that it's very hard to like when people break down specific skill sets of like players, and that's like the reason why they may be like over another player or something like that. Like Paul George is like the most complete player or something like that. But I'm not taking I'm taking Kawhi over him every single day, even though overall I like PG may like excel in more things over Kawhi, but Kawhi just has that like that thing, that it factor, that like something that he can always go back and rely on to consistently carry throughout playoffs and like even win championships and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think Ja strikes me as like a similar player, obviously not to the extent of a Kawhi, because Kawhi has won the chip multiple times.
The resume,
yeah, exactly. But in terms of impact for the game, Ja just like is up there compared to like his peers, in my opinion. I think like I said, if we were to like skill set to skill set, Ja and like Tyree and Halliburton, it's like low-key Halliburton might win that shit. Like he a better shooter, more all around, better passer. Josh more athletic. Exactly. And like Ja has never been like a double-digit assist guy. He doesn't light it up from outside the same way that Hallie does, and Hallie has 50, 40, 90 type shit. But there's just something about Ja and like the way that he impacts the game that consistently leads his teams to reach far into the playoffs or consistently perform well in these kinds of like environments and stuff like that. So I think that is super interesting to watch, I guess, because like I said, a lot of people were not even like, or some people were already putting Tyrese as like number 3 point guard.
Yeah, that's
after Luka and Curry.
Maybe so it's like maybe the way he's playing this year, but yeah, you can't overlap that.
Yeah, and I just think like a lot of people are he's not a product of the system, but he very much benefits from the system that he's playing in, Hallie.
Yeah.
The fact that like they play the 7 seconds or less type of offense is going to inflate his assist numbers for sure. Like I was going to get into this conversation, like maybe one of these days we will get into this conversation, but I don't think. Yeah, I think once things start breaking down into the half court, Hallie won't be as amazing as as anyone has been. Steve Nash. Yeah. So that for me bumps it down a lot more in terms of like actual value. While like we've seen Ja take over playoff games and win series damn near basically by himself. Not saying that he's this like crazy player or anything like that, but I think it's been nice to see, and I think the Grizzlies have a real chance of getting things going into the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of expected it from Ja coming back. I think everybody in the whole like NBA was kind of sleeping on the Grizzlies. Like they knew what to expect from them. Like, oh, they're a bad team. Like, what's Ja gonna do when he comes back? And I think he just had the NBA in a rude awakening, man. He kind of just came back and proved otherwise. Because it's like the same thing, kind of like when he got drafted his rookie year. Like they expected him, like he was great, right? But then they didn't expect, the way he came out and what he became. You know what I mean? Like he's a game changer, man. Like I don't know, like there's not much else you could say. Like he is the, I guess, heart and soul of that team. Like he runs that team. He's the engine. Like with him, I think everybody. He kind of just is the morale of the team. He builds everybody up. Like just his presence and like in general, like he's like that pick me up. Like he makes Desmond Bane better. He makes everybody around him better. I think we kind of seen that too in last night's game. Jaren Jackson, like he's more free and open, I guess you could say, because Ja just kind of opens that up for everybody.
Yeah, and I was saying, I think it's a blessing that he was out because 3J and Bane have looked a lot better now that Ja is actually the number one.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And then when Mark Smart coming back, like you really don't understand and you don't know his value until you actually watch him play. Like he does the little things, he does all the necessary. Like he doesn't make the right play like every single time, but he tries to make the right play. And like he's that benefit. Like he wants to win, so he's gonna do whatever it takes. He came back, he had 5 steals last night. I think he kind of just being the head of the defense. You know what I mean? Just kind of bringing that grit and grind back to Grizzlies, and then having someone like Ja who's gonna be able to dominate the game, and then just the role players and Bane, 3J, and Santi, everybody, and Vince Williams. Like, I mean that team, like they can improve and like come trade deadline. But I think with them right now and them building the chemistry, just the fact that Ja is back and his impact, they can go a long way. Like in my opinion.
Yes, sir. They got 2 game changers, bro.
And honestly, I like
game changers.
I do like that conversation though of like Ja's one of those players where it's like, okay, what does he do well, right?
Yeah,
he's not really a jump shooter. He's a really great finisher. I will say that.
Great finisher,
right? But he's not necessarily like a true point guard. He's just really athletic. But you know what he reminds me of? He's not the same player, but like he's just one of those super athletic guys. So it's kind of like Westbrook, where he's the pace of the team. So he's so fucking fast and athletic that in a half court setting or a run and gun setting, which is what Memphis likes to do, where it's like he's so fast and that first step is so fucking explosive that it kind of sets up your offense because he's gonna beat his man and the help has to come out right away, and that's why a lot of other players benefit from him. And I think that kind of impact is really overlooked when you just don't see it. Because, like, you think of Ja and just, like, on paper, you're like, it's not really a jump shooter. Can't really hit the three consistently.
And that's why people will just undervalue
you're going to undervalue like that. But then he comes in, and then, boom, it's just go, and they win games.
Sometimes it's not as appreciated to be so good at, like, something. So, like, Ja is, like, when we say he's a great finisher, like, he's an amazing finisher.
Exactly.
And, like, he's so great at getting to the rim that just opens up everything for the team, but also he just remains effective at doing so. While like depending on the team and the scenario and stuff like that, obviously there's more nuance to conversations like this. But because Ja is so great at what he does, you might take that over someone who is just well-rounded overall.
Yeah.
And may have like similar highs. Because it's just like I said, some players just break that mold where they're so great at that one thing that it just completely shapes their game.
You know
who
the team's kind of reminds me of, and it's funny because they play on the same team now. Derrick Rose.
Exactly.
I was going to say that. Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose.
He is the new age, like Rose and shit. Like when people talk about like seeing DeRozan in his prime and shit. And like I've had very similar examples with like Westbrook and even now like Ja and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do think
but
I like that mold better though.
Yeah. What was something, Nathan?
Sure. Like you were saying, like Ja's so good at finishing and like that, like don't matter what teams do the game plan against that to try to take away him getting to the rim. He's so good at that, just he's gonna get everybody else involved. Like if you go try to say you send two people to stop him at the rim, he's gonna find the open guy. I think his IQ is just, that high that he's gonna make that. He knows and he's gonna make the right read most of the time. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that kind of separates him from the other, point guards that you could say. Like for now, like he understands and he knows how he's gonna go and how teams are gonna play him. So, like the Pelicans, they were throwing like 3 bodies at him last night, and he was still able to find the right guy. So, and then even at the end to end the game, he got triple team, got fouled, but it wasn't called a foul. But just that, the coverage that he sees every day, every game, it kind of goes to show that what kind of player he is.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, this is all to say that he's not like some untouchable player that like won't like you can't game plan against and stuff like that. Like he has his deficiencies for sure as a player. But like I said, I just think that his skill for that one specific thing, or like amazing finishing like that is why he's such an impactful player. Even though at the base of it, if you were to compare like skill sets with a different player, they may look better on paper and stuff like that. So it's just like those small things that people can't really like put a value to technically, or like it may not like pop out right away. But when you watch the games, you're like, okay, like this is why he's so impactful for the team.
100%. And I'm happy for our boy Marcus Smart. So
yes, sir.
Let's get that boy back in the playoffs, man. He's never missed the playoffs in his career.
Yeah, the defense was looking really good with them 3. We're like X2, like Xavier Tillman, but like they were all over the place in that fourth quarter, man.
All I'm saying
Pels cannot do nothing.
If you're a top seed and you see
you don't want to
Grizzlies in the first round, that's gonna fucking suck. Like I'm not saying they'll beat them for sure, but that's gonna be an annoying fucking.
That's one of the worst fucking first round matchups, man.
It's gonna be a gauntlet, man.
Like damn, I worked for this 1 seed just to get the
Grizzlies. Just to get the fucking Grizzlies, bro. That would suck.
You don't want that.
All right. Yo, also, so we have to talk about the Pistons losing streak, right? They just they tied or break it. I think they broke it. So they broke the regular season losing streak, and they're 2 away from like the all-time losing streak. I think from like season to season or something like that, which is 29.
Because they're at 27 right now.
Yeah, they're at 27.
So, all right, I think we said this in the.
Okay, they set the record.
They set the record. Okay.
Yeah, so they have 27 now.
So okay, I think we said this in the Celtics episode, but like the Pistons are not 2-28 bad.
Oh yeah, they're not.
They're not 2-28 bad. So but I think Kyle said this where it's at the point where it's like nobody wants to fucking lose and break the streak. So they're getting everybody's best shot as if they were like the defending champs or something. So it's kind of like amplified because like, dude, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Jaden, like these dudes, Bogdanovich just came back. Like these dudes are not 2-28, a 2-28 team.
Yeah, like roster construction is sus. They've had injuries and stuff like that, but it just doesn't make like. I think that's why everyone is so. Like appalled, I guess, by this losing streak because they just don't know why it's happening. Like on paper, all this roster seems like relatively like talented for a rebuilding team, but that doesn't like warrant in anyone's eyes 27 games in a row of losing.
Yeah,
like that shit is insane.
That is insane. I mean, last night they gave Brooklyn their they were actually playing pretty solid.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of level I expect them to play like night in and night out. Like it's just a tough game and they lost because they're a relatively young team.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to get that one win.
Dude, I think it's just the fourth quarter. They have nobody to execute it. Like it's every time. It's like they play good, first 3 quarters, fourth quarter comes around, so everybody disappears. And we don't know if it's like, the players or Monty Williams, whatever he's trying to run, but I think it's that clearly not working.
Yeah, I do think it's more so personally on like the GM and Monty Williams more so than any of the players, or even like even on Cade. Like Cade is probably the last thing to worry about at this point.
Yeah,
because I did understand before where people were like, oh, maybe he's not the number one because his efficiency was just really bad in like, you know, the first half of this like losing streak, I guess you could say. Yeah, like his efficiency was really bad. He also just had no spacing. He had a lot of turnovers, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, like I said, there were arguments against that where it's like, what the fuck does he have to work with, right?
Exactly.
And then even now, the conversations are still the same, where it's like, what does he have to work with? But he damn near has been playing like flawless basketball for like 3 quarters out of 4.
Bro had 41 on 71% shooting. Like, what more do you want from this man, bro?
And it's like, there's no way people are saying he can't will them to a win. Like bro,
fucking try.
You got nobody else, man.
God damn, I feel for this guy, man.
Yo, I was just laughing because maybe Suns fans were right about Monty Williams.
Dude, maybe
that dude just robbed the Pistons, man. Because didn't he get like he got like 7 years, $84 million, and it could potentially
he was big contract,
and it could potentially be 8 years, $100 million, like which is the richest contract in history for a coach. So that's fucking insane. But no, like they're not 2-28, so that's why I'm scared when they play the Celtics. I know we talked about this already, but no, like it definitely sucks to see because I do like some of the young players. I do like Cade. I like Jaden.
I like a lot of the young players.
I like Duren. You know,
nice.
I like obviously the Thompson twins are probably one of my favorite rookies to come into the league. I like the way they play.
Yeah.
So like, damn, 2-28 and 27 in a row, and they're about to embark.
Crazy.
Dude, they're this close to being back-to-back winless months. I don't think that's ever happened in the NBA.
That's so rough, man. Like I feel for the players because what the fuck do you even say to each other after like knowing all this stuff? I feel for the fans because, like, damn, bro. Like, you see,
dark ages.
Like you're watching other teams that were in similar situations to you just like a year or two ago, and they're in way different scenarios now. And like, I think of the Rockets as being a parallel team because they were rebuilding around the same time, had like top 5 picks 2-3 years in a row.
They have similar level talent, honestly.
Yeah, and then I guess like the Thunder had like more of a head start because of Shea, but even then, they were still like rebuilding a little bit. Yeah. But it always looked promising, I guess, for the Thunder, where like each year there was progress. But with this, it's just shit. It's looking like less and less progress, which is crazy to say.
And
with the talent that they have,
you know who is winning in Detroit? Wingstop. No free wings for anybody, baby.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I guess something else we want to talk about. So. Some comments that were going around. Becky Hammond was talking about Jalen Brunson, and I think not verbatim, but basically the quote goes, "You can't win a championship if Jalen Brunson is your number one superstar." And you know, I agree with her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree with her. I don't know what the uproar is. I feel like people took it as disrespect to Jalen Brunson, which. If you've watched the pod, I've been giving this dude his props ever since I shit on him getting $100 million contract, and I said he's over right. I've been giving him his praise, but like, let's be fucking real here, man. There's only been 2 players ever with like his size, not even skill set, his size. There's only been 2 players ever that have been the best player on a championship team at his size, and that's Steph Curry and Isaiah Thomas from the '80s, not our Isaiah Thomas. So like. It's just the truth.
And both of those guys had like extremely well built teams.
Yeah,
and obviously Steph Curry is also just the greatest shooter of all time. So that is another like crazy anomaly.
Yeah.
What she said was truth. Like there's no denying that. And anyone who says honestly, that shit is just misogynistic at this point. Where it's just like people would not be on someone's ass this much if she wasn't a woman, and it's like that is like just sad to know that. And like people would have like arguments against it if they were Knicks fans / like Jalen Brunson like stans or some shit like that. But the fact that it has exploded to this point, and where she also had to put a follow-up statement when she
actually came out with a follow-up statement?
She did, like on a personal statement to elaborate more, when on live she articulated everything that she needed to articulate perfectly fine. Like that shit would like have me tight, bro. I'm like, yo, And it like I said, it's high key because she's a woman, and it's like that's annoying to have to.
And no, it's true though.
To deal
these
with.
NBA fans be going crazy on the women refs whenever they make like a back call. I'm like, bro, it's an overall thing, man. These refs just suck. Like, it's not just. But no, it's true.
Yeah, so I agree with the statements for sure. We've never seen it happen. And when they did happen, they were extremely well built teams, and one had the favorite shooter of all time. Jalen Brunson's dope, but he's never going to be the guy that wins the Knicks championship team or the Knicks championship ring.
Exactly, and I mean, I think we all agree too. Even a couple of episodes ago, that the Knicks need like another star anyway.
Yeah,
and I think if they need that another star, he's gonna have to be the star. And Brunson will be the second guy.
He's a great number 2, bro. Yeah. He would be an amazing number 2 for the Knicks if they got that one guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Brunson, he's amazing for the player he is right now, and he's averaging those numbers because he has to be that guy. But I think once they do get that guy, then I feel like he's gonna have to take that back seat. But I mean, she's not wrong. I see no lies because I love Isaiah Thomas doing, on the Celtics. Like that team wasn't built.
We knew our cap.
We did. But he was balling, man. He was fringe MVP. So Brunson is playing at that type of level, but there's no way you win a championship if you're that guy.
Honestly, IT reached a level way higher than Brunson that year.
Yeah.
And I think anybody with a brain. Okay, we have to clarify because we have some Celtics fans like that. Anybody with a brain knew we had no fucking shot at winning a championship if IT was the best player. So when that Brink Shrunk comment came out, and then the Kyrie trade happened, and people were uproar, I'm like, bro, it's fucking Kyrie Irving.
The only uproar I understand is just the sentimental.
The sentimental thing I understand.
I did so much for the Celtics. But from a player that
was a business decision, baby.
That was the move to make to help us win.
Even in hindsight, let's say even if IT stayed healthy, I'm making that trade every day of the week.
100%.
You're like, come on, bro. It's fucking Kyrie Irving. Yeah. So but for real, this is not. I can't believe people took it as a knock on Jalen Brunson. It's true. There's not that many players in general that can be a 1A on a championship team. And Jalen Brunson definitely isn't that guy, especially for his size too. So
anyone making posts and shit after good games that Jalen Brunson has had is just fucking corny, bro. We never said that he wasn't, or it was never stated that he wasn't a great player and that he wouldn't have great games and shit. But for him to not, the whole 1A thing is just like I said, that's corny, bro. They're 100% just not understanding what her real point was was being.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, no, that was a funny little time period to read about.
Crazy, bro.
All right, so let's move on to our final topic: midseason awards. We're essentially at midseason, right? We're at 30 games.
Like a third,
almost.
Almost. It's more like a third.
We will revisit. We'll revisit it during that half mark, All-Star break esque time.
Oh, for sure. All right, so we'll start.
We can start off with the smaller ones though. And then we can get into the
bigger one.
The main one. We'll just jump over this one. Rookie of the year. I feel like it should be co-rookie of the year. It should be Chet.
That'd be really nice if it was co-rookie of the year.
I think it should be Chet and Wemby because I have a hard time picking one over the other.
Yeah, I think right now
crazy.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what you value. I think co-rookie of the year would be the perfect scenario for this year, simply because Chet is impacting a winning team.
Yep.
But he's also benefiting from being on a winning team.
Yeah.
While Wemby is not on a winning team, but is putting up better stats on better efficiency. And we've all seen the talks about how the Spurs have such a lack of awareness about where he is and how to play make for them. Yeah. And I'm gonna say now, I don't think that is because they have some kind of fucking vendetta against him.
Dude, I don't know, man. Yo, Sochan don't even look his way, bro. Sochan don't even look.
Some of the videos are crazy. This
dude is 7'4". How the fuck you tell me you don't see this guy? Get out of here, man.
But it doesn't help that they don't have any playmakers except for one guy who's fucking coming off the bench and being refused to start. Yeah. So I don't really blame them for the lack of playmaking, but it is pretty hilarious to see some of the clips where it's just how do you miss this guy?
Listen, Pop is tanking, and he told the players don't pass it to Wemby.
That'd be so funny, bro. But that's why like I do agree. I think like a co-rookie of the year would be like actually perfect for this kind of scenario because there's both sides from both there's arguments for both sides. While before it was kind of it's very rare to have it this close of a race. It was more so like, oh, this guy just had a better like second half or something like that. So so he doesn't like deserve it or something like that. While this guy has been great the whole season. Both these guys have been great since like the season started. And I don't expect that to change. Mm-hmm. But it's just the idea that like, Wemby's putting up better stats on less efficiency because he has no real help around him. While Chet is putting impactful stats and, helping out a top 5 defense and stuff like that with, what is it? But he just benefits from being on like a winning team with winning players and shit like that.
With a way better roster.
Yeah, way better roster. So, I mean, personally, I had Wemby because I see the production, especially when he's been center, which has happened in the last like 5 games and stuff like that, has been like even like higher than what we were seeing when he was sharing the back or the front court with Zach Collins. So yeah, I give it to Wemby.
Me, I give it a check. I stand by whatever I said. Yeah, I said it in the beginning of the season. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree though. It would be a perfect time for the co-rookies. But if I had to pick, I have to pick Chet.
You know what's funny? Sure. This is literally identical to Melo and LeBron. Their rookie years. Because Melo dragged them to the playoffs in a tough Western Conference, but LeBron still won Rookie of the Year over him. I'm not saying LeBron didn't deserve it, but I thought that should have been a co-Rookie of the Year situation.
Yeah. I do remember hearing there being legitimate cases and people even like arguing that Melo should have won it.
Because LeBron obviously had that turnaround too. Like it was like a plus 20 something win difference from a rookie, which is crazy. But Melo also had like a plus 20 something win change, and they made the playoffs. So
that team was like legitimately good too, though. But there's no doubt that Wemby Melo helped contribute to getting them to get the playoffs.
Yeah, but no, I could see. I wouldn't be mad if one won over the other.
Same. Yeah. Both are really nice players.
But I do think this is, if there's ever a time for a co-rookie of the year, this is the time. I guess most improved player would be the next one, right? This one's the interesting.
I mean, I don't know if you guys put it, but I put because it does exist, clutch player of the year.
Oh yeah, I gave it to Dame.
Yeah, I had 2 answers, but I mean, it was either between Dame or Shea, in my opinion. Yeah. I think Shea has just had a lot of moments where he is able to take over a game.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Dame has actually like great fourth quarter statistics, so I can see that leaning towards him.
Actually didn't have one listed there, but I'll go with that.
That's how I was like,
dude, that's hard to think of in the moment. You have
it hasn't been what is it? It hasn't been solidified yet as like an award to where we think about it like that.
I'm not really thinking about it like that for sure.
Yeah,
we'll go with that. Most improved player. Okay,
wait, you think you want this one over like coach of the year and like executive?
We can go coach of the year because I think that's a breeze through. I think it's right at the moment for me. It's between whoever the hell the coach is in Minnesota and Joe.
I put the Thunder coach.
The Thunder coach?
Yeah, whatever his last name is.
Or something.
Dagnall,
yeah. But the Timberwolves coach is second for me.
Yeah. For me, I had Timberwolves and then OKC. And I wanted to give it to the Celtics, but I feel like they're not
just have the better
roster. Yes. I'm definitely going to roll with.
Well, I mean, we all have 3 different answers, so that'll be something.
Not
but
for
sure. I think it will depend on where like they finally end. If the Timberwolves get that like maintain the number 1 seed, I can see them winning it for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I think at the moment with the record situation, I don't think anybody had the Timberwolves other than maybe Nathan as like a top seed,
and not even number 1.
Yeah, not even number 1. So if that sticks, I think the shock value of them literally being the number 1 like record essentially in the league with for a while.
Yeah. My only argument is that Thunder aren't really far behind, and no one really like. They're such a young team. No one expected them to be top 3 either.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, we could see a co-coach of the year again too.
So that could be true.
I mean, GM of the year gotta be only one guy, right?
Yeah,
Bradley.
Yeah, especially after all this, like it's got to be Brad.
Listen, man, you get Porzingis and Drew Holiday and
bro, if the Bucks general manager gets that shit, I'm gonna be so tight.
No.
I just know.
I know. He's gonna have consideration because he's
it's the biggest it
was the
biggest move technically.
Move. Yeah. Dame, but still, man. Like the others, obviously, it's not gonna be the Suns, but
definitely not. Definitely not.
This,
oh my
this
goodness.
gotta be Brad's award, man. This gotta be Brad's award. Most improved. Okay, this is the one where we said we might have something different, right?
Yeah.
I'll go first. So I had Colby White.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go something different. Okay.
And I had honorable mention for Tyrese Maxey and Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For my
for me, I think right now the runaway is kind of Tyrese Maxey. I think that's everybody's favorite. But I'm gonna lean to it. Was tough. I like Kobe White too, but I think like there's a little small sample size. But all season so far, I'm going with Scotty Barnes, bro.
Okay.
He has. I had the honor to mention him because he's.
So I did have Tyrese Maxey. So I thought you were gonna go, or I thought one of you guys were gonna go Sengun.
I wanted to go Sengun, but
he could damn near be an all-star.
I saw the uptick because, like, I feel like 6 man of the year. A lot of people look at PPG, increase over everything else, and even impact because Sengun's literally been the best player on the Rocket.
Yeah,
like by far,
easily.
Because he was my number 2.
But but I was just looking at the PPG's difference, and I think Colby White kind of just came out of nowhere. Because dude was averaging like 8 points a game last year, and nobody was really talking about the Bulls. And then he's just been on a tear recently. I think he's averaging like 18 now.
True, but I think that's like kind of inflated because
it is inflated. But I don't think people really care about that in MIP talks. They just look at PPG.
No, I do think it matters though. I do think people care about that because when I say inflated, I mean so like. He hasn't started every single game.
Yeah.
So, the games that he did start are obviously going to look better rather than like having a full season under his belt starting. So like I think the actual like jumps, and like I said, I think for MIP the typical jumps will be from like you're not a good role player, but like promising role player to like an all-star essentially. And there. So, I mean, because no one chose Sengun, it doesn't really need to be like a topic of discussion or whatever like that. Sure. But the reason why I didn't go with Sengun was because it's like I don't really like to give it to third-year players and stuff like that because I feel like that's just natural progression.
Yeah.
As in, as if, you start off rookie year, second year is kind of like that sophomore slump of some sorts. Nah, Maxey's not in his third year. I don't think so. He's got to be at least in his fourth.
Yeah. I think he's in his...
Sure. Okay. I'm interpreting what you're saying wrong.
Yeah, like this.
I'm interpreting it as in like, he's had 3 years in the league.
This is his fourth year in this league.
Gotcha. No. I'm thinking of it the other way, the opposite.
Oh, okay. I see.
I was like, wait a minute, Kyle. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. So, with Sengun, it just feels like natural progression, but I do think he has taken that all-star jump, which is typically what the MIP will be for someone who is about to like make that all-star or like on the cusp of making that all-star game. So that's why I think Kobe White could have a case for sure.
Yeah.
I still went with Maxey because I think that falls in line perfectly.
He's had probably like the biggest jump.
Yeah. Big jump. He has like slowed down a little bit in more recent games and stuff like that, but I think that jump to all-stardom is still real. Like his efficiency might not be like crazy at this point, but he still is regarded as an all-star like capable player at this point. It wouldn't surprise me if like he snuck in, and it wouldn't surprise me if like he's like a backup or something like that. If someone were to get hurt and he's that person that gets called up, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Same thing with Sengun. That's why typically I was like, the MIP. They got to take that all-star jump, in my opinion, to win it. I do think Scotty has a really good case too, because he genuinely just has improved like all across the board.
Yeah.
But I feel like he kind of falls in line with like the natural progression thingy, because we've kind of already seen like hints of this already.
No, for sure.
In my opinion, but like I said, because he's improved all across the board, it doesn't surprise me if he were to actually get it either.
I think it's just looking.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said, Maxey is like I do like Maxey too, as he was my second choice, but I had to roll with Scotty because it's like he from last season. Nobody thought that it was Scotty Barnes' team. Like you would say, it was Pascal Siakam's team. But I feel like now when you look at the Raptors, this is Scotty Barnes' team. Like I understand Maxey's case. You got Joel Embiid. He's the top guy. You know what I mean? You have to be the backup to him. But Scotty Barnes took that leap, and he kind of this is his team. And like you said, he improved throughout every facet of his game. In my opinion, his points jumped up. He's become way more of a comfortable and willing to shoot the three. And on top of that, he's a freak athlete, dude. Like he's 6'9", 6'10", able to handle the ball, play defense, pick up full court. So I think he has every single like aspect of his game that has dramatically improved, in my opinion. So he kind of like, in my opinion, I think he's definitely a solidified all-star. Like he cannot not make the all-star.
Like I said, I think because he's also in year 3, which is where I'm like that progression. I feel like is naturally not supposed to happen, but like you expect those things from people who already look very promising. But I would say my only argument with that would be that they drafted, and especially his rookie year, viewed Scotty as the future. I don't think the Sixers have ever viewed Maxey as like the future, but more so like a complementary piece for
Harden and
whatever they were doing. When they had Harden and when they had even Ben Simmons at that time, because I think he came in like his rookie year, and that was like the whole Ben Simmons debacle and stuff like that. But they always viewed him as a complementary piece to the stars, essentially.
I think historically, I would agree with that, but then more recently, you're seeing Ja Morant winning Most Improved Player.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I disagree. I disagree with the Ja Morant thing. I think Desmond Bane should have won it.
No, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, in regards, they didn't view Desmond Bane as a number 2, but he ended up becoming the number 2 of the team in general. So that I've said from the beginning, like I always hated the Ja Morant MIP, and I think that like set a bad precedent, I guess, if that was like going to be the norm from now on, to give it to the guys who were like, you already expect to improve. Like there's no way no one thought Ja Morant wasn't going to jump from an all-star to a superstar. Based off of like the track record. Same way that I wouldn't be surprised if Scotty Barnes jumped into being an all-star, like a solidified all-star, because we've already seen how impactful he was in his rookie year. And then in the second year, in my opinion, it was just more so like the lack of like the lack of like pieces that fit together. Like him and Pascal are the same person, like the same fucking player. But it's just this year they were like, oh no, we're gonna focus on Scotty, and now Pascal's taking the backseat. Well, it felt like last year Scotty took the backseat to Pascal. So yeah, like I'm not the most improved player like argument makes sense, but like I said, for me, my personal thing would be just
honestly, it's just gonna come down to who the voters will pick.
It's
like part of our thing is just a prediction. Also, I did want to throw out one name. I did have Sengun as a shout out / honorable mention. I also have our boy Derek White as honorable mention.
I like that.
I had to throw him out there, baby. Oh man, glue guy to all star. That's crazy. Okay,
that would be crazy.
So this one
he has improved all the time though.
This one was interesting to me, and I had to do a little bit more research than normal. But 6th man of the year, and I can go first. At the moment, I have Cole Anthony.
Okay.
But honorable mention, Bogdanović from Atlanta and Naz Reid are my honorable mentions. I think all 3 of them could win it. Just with their stats. Yeah. Maybe not. Obviously, Bogey's like 3rd on that list. But like Naz Reid, best team in the league, and he's putting up numbers off the bench.
I mean, Bogdanović doesn't have enough games.
Yeah. I think he has like 10 games at the moment.
Yeah. Even if we were to like actually just do these awards,
I was just literally looking at their performances so far. He's been killing it of late.
He's a top bench scorer in general, like since coming back.
Yeah, I like Naz Reid too. I mean, he wasn't my pick to be honest, because obviously Timberwolves are top seed in the West, and at this point, like I think he would definitely be in the running. But for me, it was between Austin Reeves and I like IQ still. because of his case from last year. But I mean, I think that's kind of going to be a dark horse because he hasn't had a better season, you could say, from last season. He kind of like fell off a little bit. Yeah, so it's kind of like he's going to have to lean on that second half spurt and kind of like take over. But I mean, right now I'd have to lean towards Austin Reeves, sadly.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't like him. Like, I personally don't have nothing against him. I think you guys already know that. Like, he's good, but like, I think everybody just kind of overhypes him, man. Like, he's a good player. I think. And
all right, you can finish up.
He's the only person like that is putting up the numbers that the eye-catching numbers that everybody will look at and be like, okay, there's the numbers, and the Lakers are going to be, a playoff team. So that kind of goes hand in hand into people giving him the vote. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think I definitely chose Austin Reeves as well. I'm looking at they were much more improved when they moved him to the bench, and I think he's had actual like impact as the sixth man rather than just like who's scoring the most off the bench type of thing. And even then, all of his numbers have bumped up since he became sixth man. I think he has, solidified himself as the third player for the Lakers, essentially. And yeah, I mean, he was averaging like 13, 4 and 4 on like not great efficiency when he was starting, and I think he's like 15.
He's like 15, 5 and 5 right now.
15, 5 and 5 as a sixth man. On what I would assume better efficiency. I don't know the actual efficiency right now. He's like 50-40. Yeah, 50% field goal, 40% 3-point. And yeah, it's given them a better way to like move in terms of lineups and stuff like that. And being like more cohesive and all that stuff. So I'd probably give it to Austin Reeves because he's more of like a six man that like a more traditional six man, I guess. Because once they start going to the highest scorer, it just got boring.
I would argue Cole Anthony kind of fits that role too, where he hasn't started a single game.
Yeah,
and he has similar stats. I think he's averaging like 15, 4 and 4. So it's pretty close. I'm looking at it because it's almost similar to the IQ versus Bogdan last year, where well, obviously it's kind of reversed for Austin Reeves because he has been playing better off the bench and they've been playing better off the bench. But last year, obviously, IQ benefited from starting where he really went off when he was starting. And then the argument for Brogdon was he was just doing it all year from the bench. But no, I can see the sixth man of the year is just whoever has the narrative is gonna win it.
Yeah,
really, if we're being honest.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
So yeah, no, I can see Austin Reeves winning it. Honestly, I can see all four of the guys I mentioned winning it.
Yeah,
if Bogey reaches the games minimum.
Yeah, I think depending on what's it called, whatever the moves the Lakers do.
Yeah,
I think that'll determine whether or not he wins it, in my opinion. Because like I said, it affected the winning, which was like a huge deal after starting off like kind of lackluster. They still are kind of lackluster now.
Yeah.
But that's like outside of it's not entirely on just that. So if they were to make a move for like a star player or whatever, and he continued to come off the bench and impact the way that he does, that would be I could see that being just solidifying his case essentially.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying the Lakers going 1-5 after the in-season tournament
and raising that banner.
I still can't. Okay, we gotta talk about that a little bit. I can't believe they raised the banner, bro.
That's crazy. I mean, they want to bring some validity to it. So
I get it, but you know who I kind of agree with? He was saying it on the KG's podcast. I actually like what Paul Pierce was saying. Yo, do like a plaque.
Yeah.
I don't think you should hang it next to the rafters, the championship rafters, especially the team. Like the Lakers and the Celtics, we have what? Well, this is up for argument, but both teams have 17 championships, right?
Yeah.
But like, how are you gonna hang that next to that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's crazy to me.
I do think it's a lot to hang a banner, but I'm thinking like, hey, 20, 30 years down the line, that shit like.
No, I'm cool.
That shit might be like it's a staple. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Like any new thing is gonna look odd and funny to us.
Well, I'm cool. Okay, I'm cool with honoring it in some type of way, But honoring it the same way you do a championship is weird to
me. No, but that's the thing. We value this championship so highly because that's all we have ever known.
Yeah.
But I'm saying 20, 30 years down the line, when it just becomes the norm, not saying that people people are clearly going to value, or people are going to know the difference in value, but they might not think it's such a big gap where it's like, oh, the winning the ring is like all you need to do.
Yeah.
While like winning the in-season tournament is just a whatever thing. It might start to mean
I get it
something.
From like I get where you're coming from because you watch like European soccer and that's a big deal over there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that'll ever translate to the same. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's all if you make it out to be.
I'm gonna make it out.
So like
no.
Because I don't know. It's just like I never want to. I can't think of like
you don't want to delegitimize something that was won. I get that.
No, not even that. I just don't want to jump to like saying it's a bad idea because even like I mean we've talked about it more in concept, right? Where it's just like the play-in was shot down by everyone and thought that shit was stupid as fuck. And now even just like 3 years down the line, people love the idea of it, right?
Yeah.
So while this is more of like a physical thing and less of a concept because we understand the actual like the concept of the in-season tournament is dope. I think it's still reminiscent of that same thing where people collectively are like, oh, this is like, why would they do that? It's not the same type of thing. While like I said, down the line, it may not be viewed as that at all. It'll just be another piece of like the NBA like world or like the NBA achievements, basically. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I could ever see it that way personally.
That's what I'm saying. But you guys personally may think that. But kids growing up now may not think the same thing.
Hey, we'll see.
And I think that's smart for them to market towards that though.
I get it.
If why bring up something and hype it up to this point to be lesser than something else?
Yeah.
Why not give it the same exact kind of love that you give an actual championship so that kids start to take it more seriously as they grow up with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I get where you're coming from. But there are levels to this stuff.
No, I agree. I do think there's levels to it.
One is clearly harder than the other. You know?
For sure. We don't know what it's going to be like.
Like in European soccer, like I think obviously that's harder because it's the champions from every league playing in
it really depends though. Because there are a lot of teams that are built for, say, winning the Championship League, but they're not built for winning their own league. And it's like some people excel more in the Champions League because it's more of like a knockout bracket type thing rather than being consistently good throughout the whole season. So it's like in the same kind of way, it's like you wouldn't equate March Madness to an NBA championship, but both of them still have very high prestige. You know what I'm saying? Like winning the NCAA double championship or NCAA championship is a huge deal for college players.
But the NCAA championship is also the finale.
I agree. No, I agree. But what I'm saying is that they both have high prestige.
Yeah.
So like if you were to list down Hall of Famers, if someone were to win an NCAA championship, that's a big deal in their resume, like their basketball resume. So I think that not having that like the in-season tournament in a similar regard would be like wouldn't be as smart of a move for the NBA.
No, I get it from the NBA standpoint, but I guess we'll have to see how the in-season tournament evolves because obviously this is the inaugural season. I'm gonna still laugh at the Lakers though. Like I got an IST championship banner. You crazy?
Until we win one.
Exactly.
Until we win one.
Hey, we gonna hang a plaque. We're gonna switch it up from them. We're gonna hang up a plaque.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I just think it has some value to it.
No, I can see that. But like, because the reason why I say that is because some teams actually put up a banner for being the Eastern Conference champions for that season,
division
or the Western Conference champions. Yeah, division. Yeah. So I can see that. You know, I kind of don't hate it, I guess. But yeah, for it being the first season, that for the be the in-season tournament, I guess it kind of holds some value, maybe. But I think they could have maybe went a different route, maybe the route that what I was thinking was like. They had the specific court, you know what I mean, for the in-season tournament games. Maybe put like for the rest of the season, put that you were in-season tournament champions, something like that. Kind of like put it on the court, so you kind of have that. But I mean, I don't know. But the banner was kind of for me. It's whatever, but not 50-50.
Yeah, I think it's more magnified for teams like the Lakers and the Celtics because we have so many.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like if the Pacers had won, they don't have a championship.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would be dogging on it as much.
For sure, I think people would still meme it for sure.
They would,
but like I said, I think I think as things progress, it'll start to shift more and more.
Yeah,
and it's marketing.
I think once it gets, it's definitely marketing, and then once I think it evolves and it gets more validity to it in terms of from the players.
Yeah,
like they're kind of coming around to it because remember LeBron was like hating on the play-in. It's like who the fuck made that shit? Fire them, and then now he's like, oh my god, I love it. Right?
Yeah,
his team benefits.
Hey, he loves in-season tournament.
Right? Because they benefited from it, and they made the Western Conference Finals after it. So anyway, but we'll see. I get what your point is, and but I just don't think it's funny.
No, it is still funny. I 100% agree. It's still funny, but I'm like I see the long-term vision. Like I think treating it this way will be like good for the NBA long-term.
I think once they kind of iron out more of how it will be and it's solidified in like this is something you would look forward to, I think that's when you start gaining more of the traction that you were talking about.
Yeah.
But that's yet to be seen. Maybe when the Celtics win it next year.
You're gonna be hanging two banners, you know?
Right, I know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. DPOY. I personally think it has to be Rudy, right?
Yep.
Best defensive player. Like,
I mean, my runner-up was AD, just because he has been on a defensive tear.
He has been. That's like his most consistent play.
Yeah. So and I think that is why his offense can like be sacrificed, quote unquote, because he has so much responsibility on the defensive end, and he's actually like impacting it. He's not like they're asking him to do a lot, and he's wishy-washy. He's always like very consistently great on the defensive end, and he's wishy-washy on the offensive end because of how much he's doing on the defensive end.
Sure. But it's hard to really argue anybody other than Rudy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
he back.
Okay, MVP was a little bit more difficult for me to choose because of personal bias, maybe.
Yeah.
So I want to hear who you guys have first because I have two guys.
Nick go first.
I have two guys, but one guy I don't want to get to.
I have two guys, but I mean it's 30 games. Oh,
yeah.
I think my feeling of who I think is going to win or is in the front running for it right now is Joel Embiid, but that's not my choice. I personally picked SGA for MVP. Yeah, I just think he's playing out of his mind, man. I think he's kind of showing. Everybody knew what to expect from him after his season last year, but he's taking steps again this year, and he's kind of proven that OKC is far, surpassing everybody's expectations. Being a top 4 team in the West, they're being, they won their last 6 or 7 of their games, and they're just overall like for a young team, they're nobody. They're not a slouch. Nobody wants to see them, and you kind of have to really, really game plan for them. So, and I think SGA is the head of the snake for them. So, the fact that I really do think that if he sustains this level of play throughout the season, I think he has to gain serious consideration for MVP. But again, I think it's kind of like a bias type of thing. Like voters are going to vote for who they voted for the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And knowing that Joel Embiid won it last year, I think he's going to be the unanimous favorite, and he has the numbers to back that up.
Yeah.
So, but I think I like a little change. And if the fact that they didn't even want to give Jokic a 3-peat, and then they gave it to, and Joel Embiid did make a case, which he deservingly won it last year. But I think SGA is making the same case, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have Joel as well for number 1, and Shea as number 2. I think I would personally, I mean, it is biased because Shea has been my favorite player since or one of my favorite players since the Clippers days, honestly. Hey, anyone can fact check me on that. I've been gassing that man up. But I think Joel has the case right now. It honestly could change within a few, like a week or two, because I think the only real argument at the moment is the fact that he has performed extremely well, but they're all against bad opponents.
He's handpicking his games at the moment.
Yeah, so I mean that I don't know how much is true, but it could be it could be like the norm going onwards toward like we'll see how he performs against really good teams. Like basically, we've only seen him go crazy and put like historic games against these really bad teams. But he hasn't had a lot of like adversity in general, so that would like bring down either his standings or his stats in general. So that could be subject to change like very, very soon. But like I said, my personal pick would be Shea because of where they are in the standings. Obviously the West is like super competitive and all that stuff, but no one expected such a young team to jump up this high this fast, and they're not even that far away from the top 2 seeds. They're like 1 game back from Denver and like 2.5 from the Wolves, and they just beat the Wolves I think the other day as well. So that is like a little statement game of some sorts. But I think on the defensive end, he has been just as impressive, if not like even more. Like I don't know if he's a steals leader, but he's damn near averaging 3 steals a game, which is fucking crazy. And then on the offensive end, I had like not suspicions, but worries that he would drop down a bit with Chet and the rise of like J-Dub and all that kind of stuff. But he is still averaging like a smooth ass 31 points, which is crazy. And his efficiency, has been like the same, if not like much better. I think from 3 is the only thing that he's like downwards from. And the thing is, the other suspicion that I had for his PPG drop-in was that he wasn't going to get to the line as much, because he got to the line almost like 11 times a game and was shooting like 90% from the free throw line. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to be sustainable, but it has. Like he is going to the line less, but he's shooting it obviously more efficiently, but he's almost averaging the same amount of points. So I think that's like just as impressive. Or that's even more impressive in my opinion, that he's able to do all this. And then
he's still taking 8 free throws a game.
I think he was taking 11 last season. That's a 3. That's
which is insane.
That's the difference between like high 20-point game like per game and the 31 point per game.
No, for sure.
So yeah, all those were like my personal picks for why Shea would get it. Obviously, my third runner up would be like Luka, because of that was like my early season pick for one. But I think he's just actually like on another level. Like dude's playing out of his mind.
Yes.
But he has kept this team like in a relatively high standings while like very, very injured. Like his team has been dismantled essentially.
And he has Grant Williams.
Yeah, and which is like a negative. So that's points to him. So so that was my third, and he could also change within a week or two too, because they're not that far back from the 3rd seed and OKC's position.
Yeah.
So it's like they win 2 games in a row or something like that.
For sure.
For the 3rd seed, he could be number 1. So all of this is very close, but at this very moment, I would say Joel is in the front because of his crazy stats and his seeding for sure.
So I think all 3 of us actually had the same top 2. I had Embiid, but I said biased because I don't know. It's obviously an assumption, but he's just really handpicking games. He's playing against the Pistons, the Hawks, and then he sits against the Celtics. He's sitting against the Magic.
Yeah, he is.
Tonight, and he sat against the
Heat
again on Christmas Day. So it's like, I wouldn't have believed the handpicking thing because obviously it's just a meme to start with. They're always picking bad teams, but dude, sitting against the Heat to manage your injury and then not playing the very next game, a little sus, man. Especially it's a good team.
No, the thing that made me laugh was like the fact that he is like managing injuries and stuff. Now, granted, I think they said he got injured like outside of the game after the Charlotte game or not Charlotte.
Yeah,
I think after the Minnesota game, something like that. One of the games he got like an injury outside, and that's what's been like holding him back. But like he had like 7 games in like 13 days or something like that.
Yeah, and he played all.
And he played all of them. And honestly, they were all the bum ass teams.
It was all against fucking the Hawks, the Pistons, and the Hornets. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here. He's putting up the numbers. The numbers are undeniable. I think he averaged like 40 points a game towards the end of the last couple weeks, right? Like one player of the week or whatever. I just have a hard time giving it to someone like that, man. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't.
No, I agree. He's not. He's like my least favorite player to watch.
So I do have SGA for all the reasons you guys are saying, and they've been impressive. I think they were second in the West for a while until, they dropped half a game to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Officially they're third, and SGA has been kind of playing on another level on both ends of the ball. And you know me, I love two-way players. So I did have to honorable mention somebody. I wanted to honorable mention Giannis because I think we had been talking about how dysfunctional that team is. Dysfunctional. Not in the same way as the Suns, but like you know what I mean. They're figuring it out as well. They're also a team figuring it out. I don't think that they're true contenders, but we talked about this the other week. But I do think that they are still a team that you have to keep an eye on. They're on the radar. They're second in the East now. What's their official record? I think they are
22-8 or something.
22-8. I
think they have
22-8. So they're 22-8. They're 1.5 games behind the Celtics, and that's with having literally no perimeter defense. So that's something to speak for. And Giannis is averaging like 31, 11, and 6 or some shit with like 3 stocks. So I just wanted to throw his name out there. I don't think he's gonna win MVP, but yeah, it's an honorable mention.
I can see it. I don't think that is a bad pick at all.
But Joel Embiid cannot win MVP again until he starts playing good teams again. I refuse to give this man another MVP.
That's what I'm saying. I think that'll be like the determining factor because the narrative is becoming true.
It is
like before it's memes, but this kind of shit does affect narrative. Like obviously we all know MVPs are narrative based awards. So if like this shit really carries out, he's gonna have to like have some statement games against like good teams. I think that'll be the biggest thing.
I bet you. I'm looking at the schedule right now. Right after the Magic game tonight, they play the Rockets and the Bulls. I bet you he plays both games.
Oh, he definitely playing the Bulls.
I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now.
He missing that shit.
They don't play a good game.
Andre Drummond. I'm going there.
They don't play. Okay. The Knicks are a relatively good team. He'd probably play against them. They don't really got a big Mitchell Robinson, is that right?
Mitchell Robinson,
so they probably don't play another
like,
really.
Do they have a big or not?
Like, bro, he might play against. He might not play against the Kings. Who knows? We'll see. That's their next like good team. But other than that, it's the Bulls, the fucking what did I say? December. It's the Bulls, the Rockets,
the
Knicks. The Jazz, he's going to play against them. The Hawks again, and then the Kings. And then after that is the Rockets. Yo, he's going to duck the Nuggets. Yo, okay.
What is his injury report right now?
They play... Who?
Oh, Joel Embiid's out like with a foot injury or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So they're supposed to play the Nuggets on Tuesday the 16th. If he ducks that game, our suspicions are confirmed. I don't care.
Wait, which one? The Kings?
The Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Oh,
if he ducks Jokic again.
That'd be crazy if he dropped. Yeah.
If he ducks Jokic again, our suspicions are confirmed, bro. I don't care.
That's too funny.
But the NBA MVP can't be ducking games, bro.
No, agreed. I'd be very, very shocked if he did.
Oh man.
So I mean, I would like to be optimistic and say he's not ducking games, but hey,
who knows, man? Who knows?
Our case right now.
I don't care. I'm biased, and plus, Philly fans are the most annoying fans on Twitter. So that's all they got. Oh, where's Tatum's MVP? Where's Joel Embiid's conference final stats?
That's facts. It's okay. We're gonna get the ring.
We're gonna get that ring to shut everybody up.
Yep.
All right. That's all we got. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.
Hey.